can't see myself. Is that me? Wow. Is this live? Really? Am I... Hello, people back home. Hello, people in the audience here. Something YouTube, Coven of Wisdom, live stream, something like that. You can find it with the help of some AI, I think. I hope. So many bad jokes. So, people, welcome. In the audience, welcome at home at another Coven of Wisdom meetup that is proudly hosted by our main sponsor, IO. So, thank you, IO, again, for giving us the opportunity to be here and to... That music! Yeah, exactly. But I don't feel AI and Harry Potter in the same sentence, but that feels more like home. So anyhow, people, welcome and thank you very much for coming to Coven of Wisdom here in Eindhoven. I'll come back on that, why I'm telling you it's in Eindhoven later on, or is that already, whatever. I didn't prepare anything, so that's why this is so awkward, both for you and for me. Before we start, I just want to go over a few things that we need here for the people that are here in the audience. We have a toilet situation. And we have a kind of a big toilet situation where we don't have any toilets on the ground floor. Well, we have them, but you shouldn't use them. If you want to go to the toilet, you can follow the AI-generated links that are in the building. And if you're wondering what they look like, well, my colleague Bavo, who unfortunately isn't here today, he asked his favorite AI to generate a poster for this event. So this is an AI-generated poster for an AI event, and I have no idea what it's about. I will give it to the audience so you can take a closer look. If you have any idea what it's about, please tell me, because I thought we were going to talk about something that I can understand, but apparently register here button with arrow transparent background, and then we have an arrow that says Regger. Okay, well, probably something that he understands, but I don't. So, for the people here, if you want to go to the toilet, please follow the arrows that go upstairs. And on the first floor, there are multiple toilets available. Right, so instead of me, you're not, because you're not here for me, unfortunately, but you're here to learn about AI. And we have two amazing speakers. And the first who's going to start right now is called Job. He's a colleague of mine here at IO in Eindhoven. And he's going to talk about AI in a manner that we think is also very important. And that is not, will it take over the world? Well, maybe that is exactly what you're going to talk about. So, before giving away any more spoilers, Job.
Oh. Yeah. Well, I'm waiting. Yes. Oh. It vibrated. Why? Okay. Good day, everyone. These days, we hear a lot of talk about AI. Some say it's the future, while others say it will be our doom. Today, my name is Job van Drunen, and today I will go through a presentation called Ethics in Artificial Intelligence. Hopefully, at the end of it, you will have a better concept of what AI is and what its future will be for us as a society. Calling AI good or bad is not set in stone, not at all. It's very interpersonal, whether you consider it good or bad. And that's basically anything we humans build is good or bad, depending on how we use it. It's not the thing itself that's good or bad, but the application we have for it. For example, If you look at weapons, if we give weapons to Ukraine, I'd personally say that's a good thing. But if we give weapons to Russia, that's a bad thing. And that, to me, is the essence of ethics. What are we, as a person, and by extension a society, comfortable with? What do we allow, and what don't we allow? And another way to describe this as well is based on the behavior someone is showing, do we trust this person? Do we trust this group of people? And that, to me, is the essence of ethics. And that is what I want to talk today about and give you a better understanding of how this works. And to do this, I've decided, or I chose to talk to ChatGPT, ask it a few questions. And I want to go through these questions with you and talk about the questions that raised for me. And through that, explain the ethical considerations we have regarding to artificial intelligence. So the first question I asked ChatGPT, very simply, is what are the ethical ramifications of ChatGPT? And it gave me quite a long list, and I will go through this with all of you, and I will provide some extra examples in order to try and give you some more information about the way I view this. Now, it starts off by saying the ethical ramifications of ChatGPT and other similar AI language models are significant and have been the subject of much debate and concern. Here are some key ethical considerations. The first one, bias and fairness. Learns based on existing data. Oh. So the first one, the example I want to give with this is, for example, when you have facial recognition. If you train it purely on white people's faces, and then you put a colored face in front of it, it will most likely not be able to understand the other colored faces at all. So the input data is very important in what it's able to accomplish and what it isn't able to accomplish, even though for us humans, the faces are almost exactly the same. Second one, misinformation and disinformation. Very simply put, if I were to put into an AI that the Earth is flat, it would simply repeat that. So it doesn't check anything, it doesn't know anything, it will just give the information out that is being given, that's being trained on. So if that data is wrong, it will actually repeat the wrong data. Then we have privacy and data security. This one is a little bit different because one example I want to give for this is very simple. If I were to ask ChatGPT, how do I create a database connection? I would ask it that, and then I would give maybe my database connection name, my password, and as well the connection string. And then it would give me an example code, and I say to it, okay, this is exactly what I need. Thank you very much. And then another user asks the exact same question. And then he gets the same example that I was given with my user data. And then he has access to my database. That's not what I want, but those are things we need to be aware of, that's possible. Then we have consent and deception. A user isn't always aware that they are chatting with an AI these days, because it's very difficult these days to know online whether you're talking with a human or an AI. Very simply put, if you were to go on Tinder or any dating app and you were to ask and you were to chat with someone, you simply cannot know for sure whether it's an AI or a bot. And these are things we need to think about and realize that these are actually can cause problems. Then user manipulation. This one is actually very simple. Based on data, a lot of companies can steer behavior of humans. Very simply put, if you ever went to a supermarket and you went in there with the idea to buy butter, for example, and you walk out with butter, cookies and everything else, almost always that's done because of AI that has learned how people behave and how to influence it. This is something we need to be aware of as well. Then we have accountability and liability. Very simply put, who is responsible for the responses given by the AI, in this case ChatGPT? For example, if I were to ask it, how do I bake a pie? And it would include a poisonous ingredient into it. who's responsible? Am I, the end user, responsible for whether or not I die from it, potentially? Is it ChatGPT itself, like the AI itself, responsible for it? Is it the company? Is it the developer? Who is actually responsible for this? Then we have addiction and dependence. Very simply put, people currently have a lot of FOMO about this, because everyone talks about AI and ChatGPT and, oh, you have to use it, and oh, it has such a good answer. And people are simply not really aware, actually, what the advantages and disadvantages are. Sorry. And they become dependent on it because they do not know whether they should or not use it, so they simply are afraid of missing out. That's absurd to me, sorry. Then intended use and dual use, very simply put, people can improve their malware or other maybe bomb making or whatever by asking ChatGPT questions, and initially it will try to deny it, but there are ways to work around that. These are all things we need to be aware of. That's what ChatGPT at least says. Then it continues with saying, addressing these ethical ramifications requires a collaborative effort involving AI developers, policymakers, ethicists, and the wider society as a whole. What do these people have to do? Solving these ethical challenges involves implementing transparency measures, so we can we actually understand why, how did it come to the certain decisions it gives, how do we know that the answers it's given, where do they come from, robust bias detection, so we know whether data is actually biased or not, mitigation techniques, privacy safeguards, and clear guidelines for responsible deployment and use of AI systems. This is the answer ChatGPT gives to us. And so far, I think it encompasses most of the problems we have with ethical in regards to ethical challenges we have with AI. Of course, there's also the thing about copyright infringement and stuff like that. It didn't say that, but I'm mentioning it right now. And this answer in itself isn't bad. But then I was thinking, okay, but what is the company behind ChatGPT doing? So OpenAI, what's it doing to solve these issues? And I thought, let's ask ChatGPT again. So I asked it, what is OpenAI doing in order to keep ChatGPT ethical? Now, again, quite a long answer. This time I will go through it again, but this time without any extra comments or examples. I'll just go through it quickly so you have an understanding of what this is. OpenAI is committed to addressing the ethical concerns surrounding ChatGPT and ensuring its responsible development and use. Here are some steps OpenAI has taken. It starts off by saying red team and public input. They basically say in that part, they use third parties to check safety and policy. They have audits for that, sorry. And ask the public for how they expect the AI to behave, basically. Then they have continuous improvement. They are consistently doing research, trying to find improving factuality, less bias, quality, moderation and filtering. They're training their programs, fine-tuning the responses and using human feedback to improve all of it. Then they also say user feedback and flagging. Users can flag issues and provide feedback. Okay, maybe if you ever use ChatGPT, you know you can flag an answer or even say to the bot itself, I don't like your answer, it should be something different. It will just use that. And if it keeps on training, it will learn from that as well. Then we have safety mitigations. Basically more research done to reduce harmful outputs and untrue outputs. Then partnership and collaboration. They have external parties that they work together with in order to share knowledge and increase their the correctness of everything they do. And a 7th point that they give is responsible use framework. And most of this sounds nice. So the answer given here basically says that OpenAI is aware of issues and they are trying to solve it. But I have an issue with this, because I have an issue with this because OpenAI is the one basically that gives me this answer. And based on the information they have given me in the last 2 questions I asked, there are some questions that come to me. First of all, it basically says in, oh, wrong one. Oh, yeah. So the questions I get in my head when I read this is, it sounds very nice, too nice, actually, in my opinion. It's like someone wrote this, a HR person wrote this, or a media person wrote this, and gave it to us. And the reason why I get that feeling, or what makes that feeling feel stronger, is the following. Because before I asked OpenAI or ChatGPT my questions, I was given this disclaimer on the ChatGPT itself. And it starts very simple. There you have examples, very simple, very straightforward. Gives a few examples you can give to the AI, how to interact with it. And then it goes to capabilities. And it says first, remembers what user said earlier in the conversation. Okay, nice. It's nice to have a conversation where people remember what you said. Then you have allows users to provide follow-up correction. So if you don't agree with an answer or whatever, you can just say it, do it, and it will try and correct itself. And then the third one. This one is one I have an issue with, because it says train to decline inappropriate requests. And the second question I asked ChatGPT is whether OpenAI is doing whatever OpenAI is doing to keep the bot ethical. And the issue I have with this point is it says inappropriate. I do not know what they consider inappropriate. Because when I got the answer from ChatGPT, it didn't say, oh, this answer that I've generated is 40% inappropriate. No, it didn't. It just gave me an answer. I'm not aware whether that's inappropriate or not. They are not telling me how the answer is given. And to me, that makes the answer less reliable, because when it sounds too good to be true, what they're doing, then, and I read this, then I get a lot of questions in my head about, is it true what they're saying or not? And that's not all of it, because when we go to the last column, limitations, it says, may occasionally generate incorrect information and may occasionally produce harmful instructions or biased content. And basically they're saying, whatever OpenAI ChatGPT is putting out there, you can't fully trust it because, yeah, it's an AI, basically. And that in and of itself isn't bad. I think it's good that they have this disclaimer. But when you ask questions related to the company itself, it becomes very difficult to know whether things are true or not. Because it might also be that based on its input data, it's giving the correct answer. But a big company like OpenAI, that's a for-profit company, saying that they are doing all these things, in my second question, they gave the 7 points about what they're doing to keep the company, or to keep ChatGPT ethical. But it's a for-profit company. Are they truly doing all these things, giving so much money to research, to maintenance, to checking all these things? I can't fully believe that. And in order to try and elevate these issues, concerns that I have with these answers given, I thought, why not look at its CEO? Its CEO called Sam Altman. And when I started looking into him, I very quickly came to another question, or another problem, basically. And it starts very simple. There's these open letters that went into the world about AI. The first one was on the 22nd of March this year, with the title, Pause Giant AI Experiments, an open letter. I also put the link there for people that want to look. And basically, this open letter said, powerful AI systems should be developed only once we are confident that their effects will be positive and their risks will be manageable. And then they say, we call on all AI labs to immediately pause for at least 6 months the training of more powerful, of AI systems more powerful than GPT-4. And the reason they do all this is very simple. AI labs and independent experts should use this pause to jointly develop and implement a set of shared safety protocols for advanced AI design and development that are rigorously audited and overseen by independent outside experts. So basically what they're saying here is, let's stop development of newer AI systems. So any AI system that's already there, we accept it for what it is. But any new ones that are advanced and more powerful than what we've seen with ChatGPT-4, we stopped that development for 6 months. And some Altman's reaction to this was, nah, not gonna do that. And he didn't really offer any solution or anything. He just said, this is not the way to solve this problem. And the reason I show this letter is because of the next open letter that came a few months later. This one, it's only 22 words, and it's published on the 30th of May this year. And it says, mitigating the risk of extinction from AI should be a global priority alongside other societal skill risks, such as pandemics and nuclear war. And this one he did sign. And what I find so weird about this is, on one hand he says, I'm not going to stop development of AI for 6 months. But on the other hand, he says, one of the biggest challenges that we humans have is the thing he's a leading expert on. He is creating. But pausing it for 6 months? Nah, that's not going to happen. And that to me is very weird. And that's also why I can't trust him, and by extension, his answers given by the AI. Because he doesn't solve the issues that I have with the questions from the AI itself. Because he, as a CEO, is the face and representation of the company. And instead of coming with any solution, as far as I can tell, to this challenge that he himself said is a big risk, he comes up with WorldCoin. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with it, so I give a very quick summation of what it is. Very simply put, you can scan your iris, so your eye, with this orb, and in exchange you get a little bit of cryptocurrency called WorldCoin, and you get a way to identify yourself, or at least prove you are human in the online sphere. That's very simply put what WorldCoin is. So he talks about AI being a very big risk to the world, and then he comes with this. To me, that's very weird. And then he also puts this text there on his website. The WorldCoin community is building a more human economic... Oh, 1 second. Yes. Okay, so he's saying the WorldCoin community is building a more human economic system. WorldCoin is designed to become the world's largest privacy-preserving and largest privacy-preserving human identity and financial network, giving ownership to everyone. WorldCoin aims to provide universal access to global economy, no matter your country or background, establishing a place for all of us to benefit in the age of AI. And this is what I want to talk about AI and ethics. Like, he is saying all these nice things about what he's doing and why he's doing it, but when you look at his actions, he signs a paper not pausing, he doesn't pause AI development, then he says it's a big threat to the world, and then he comes with WorldCoin, something completely irrelevant to the issue he says there is, which he leads. And he doesn't solve anything. So when I look at his actions, none of it to me seems ethical, and it doesn't take away any of the concerns I have regarding to any of it. And that is what we, as a person, and by extension, as a society, need to decide for ourselves. What are we comfortable with? Are we comfortable with a person like Sam Altman leading us into our future or our doom, as I said earlier? And as I said, another way to describe this is based on shown behavior and actions. Do we trust a person or group of people? And these are the questions we need to ask ourselves if AI will be good or not. It's not the thing itself that's good or bad, it's how we use it, whether it's good or bad. And the people leading us into that future will be the ones that actually decide, is it good or bad? So The goal of this presentation is not to give a solution or give you a correct answer. It's to create awareness. Awareness of, in what my opinion, is the true challenge we face with artificial intelligence. And you might ask yourself, what now? You heard me talk a lot about challenges and questions that I have, no answers. So what is it that we can do with this information? Now, very simply, you need to decide for yourself, what am I comfortable with? What is it that I will be okay with if AI does that, or how it's used, or how it's deployed, or whatever? What am I comfortable with? Because only once you know what you are comfortable with, then you can let your leaders know what you want. What kind of, how do you say that? What kind of rules they need to make. What do we need to do as a society to make the future good with regards to AI and not a doom? And I think that's the takeaway from my presentation. Think about this for a second. Look for yourself. What do I want? What is it that I think should be the future that we want? And once you know, try and look for a way to make it known. Thank you for listening to my presentation. And if anyone has any questions, feel free to ask. So, any questions? Afterwards, that's fine as well. I'm not sure.
This is afterwards.
Yeah.
This is your moment,
Yes.
man. So yeah, I had one question that is completely not relevant to anything you just talked about. But I was just wondering, how many presentations have you given for more than one person?
This is basically my first time standing for this kind of presentation. Yeah.
You're a natural, man. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes.
So, are there any questions from the audience or from the people back home? Well, I did check the chat just a few minutes back and there was nothing. But if there's anything from the audience, please raise your hands. I will come to you, give you the mic and you can ask. And otherwise, I think we need a little time to digest what we just heard, because it's quite a lot. And actually what you said at the start or at the end, or both at the end, it's like, you're not giving the answers. So, well, we just need to seek the answers amongst ourselves and find out how and what we're okay with regarding AI.
Yeah.
So, again, Job, thank you very, very much.
Yes.
And for us in the audience and for the people back home, we'll have a small break and we're back in...
Half an hour.
Oh man, I love it. Echo, echo, echo. Half an hour. Thank you.
Right.
Sorry. I like that. Yes. All right. So I hope there I am. Okay. So thank you all for staying and at home. Thank you for still being here. So we're about to start our second session. So again, thank you, Job, for explaining us a little bit about the ethics of AI. But now let's see the fun part, or not? Yeah. The thing that we're really here for. So what can AI do for us? And please show me how. Right. Give a big round of applause for Vince.
Hello. Hey. Great. Amazing. I'm going to talk about a transformer model. And what is the transformer model? The T of transformer is the T in GPT. And GPT stands for generative pre-trained transformers. And I'm going to talk about why is it like a framework for AI scientists? Why does every AI scientist suddenly flock to the transformer model? How is suddenly this year that the AI is exploding and booming, that everybody is going towards it? And why do you see it on the news everywhere all of the time? It's because of this transformer model. It's actually an anything-to-anything translation device. I'm going to talk more about it. So this is me in my office. I'm from a campus consultancy. Well, consultancy is in the city, like Campus Eindhoven or Campus Utrecht. I can work in every campus on IO wherever I want. I'm an AI implementation specialist, so I know the API of OpenAI, for example, and I know how to use it or make amazing prompts. That's not what we're going to talk about really today. I'm a front-end developer. I'm actually a front-end developer more than AI implementation specialist, and there's my email if you want to ask some more questions. So what are we going to talk about? First thing we're going to talk about, I assume we all have heard of ChatGPT, of course. And we're going to think outside the box. We're going to think, how are we going to use ChatGPT in a very unique way? Gonna go a little bit over in the technical details and maybe a fun use case for the developers among us. Let's start by thinking outside the box. The history of AI and where we are today. Well, classical AI. I'm going to call it classical AI. Nobody else calls it classical AI, but I like to call it classical AI, which is before the transformer model. You know, we all know like computer vision. Oh. Is it yeah. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Can I point? Is it better even? It's a bit sensitive though, but it's okay. So we all well, anyway. So there's like classical AI, we've got computer vision, like, you know, voice recognition, text-to-speech, robotics, music generation, image generations. Those were all different AIs. Before, when somebody made progress in the text-to-speech, for example, they made papers about it. They made research papers about it. However, if somebody made advances in here, the rest of all the AI sections couldn't understand it. It was such a different language. They used such different jargon. Like if text-to-speech made some advances, all the others were like, yeah, great that you made advances, but I can't really use it for my my development in image generation. It was so completely different. Because they all started from a different place. And then they all developed in their own way. And then yeah, nobody could really work with each other in this section. So we all know this is like we've all seen this, right? This is a familiar thing. This is vision AI. This is how they used to do it. They would spot something over there and they say a car, that's an umbrella, that's a person. That's a truck, even though that's a bus. So that's and if somebody made advances in here, the people in music generation has nothing with this. It's like, but it's all called AI. So in 2017, a new AI has been invented, and it was invented for Google Translate. Let me tell you more about that. What they invented was attention is all you need. Don't pay attention to this. This is too complicated. If I have to start explaining that, we'll be here for 2 extra days. So I'm not gonna. This is just an image. So in 2017, somebody released a paper that says attention is all you need. But it is. He was right. It's actually the only thing you need. What they paid attention to is like certain words in a text that were more important than the other ones. It's called self-attention. So let's give you some examples in Dutch. I know not everybody can read Dutch, fortunately, but there was some translation AI was trained by the community. You can see that from this picture over here. That means that there's a community translation. If we know helaas pindakaas, well, it's not, unfortunately, peanut butter. It means too bad. Or ik heb een lift nodig, so I need an elevator. But it doesn't mean it like that. I need a ride, or keep me on the height. Or done as case just means done. So these are all community-driven improvements of an AI. And the transformer model knows exactly that if you place helaas pindakaas inside a whole sentence, it knows like this actually doesn't mean, unfortunately, has nothing to do with peanut butter, has something to do with it being too bad. So what is a transformer model? It's basically a language transformer. Transforms one language to another language, and it is driven by the community. And then somebody thought, like out of nowhere, they thought about, hey, what if we put all of the internet's text in there? What would happen? And it's called a pre-trained transformer model. Not yet generative pre-trained transformer model, just a pre-trained transformer model. But it wasn't that smart yet. But it did work, but it wasn't that smart. Like if you ask it, what is 7 plus 8? It says, well, 7 plus 8 equals 10. Well, that's wrong, it's 15. What is 7 plus 8? 7 plus 8 is wrong, it's 15. Okay, then what's 2 plus 2? 2 plus 2 equals 15. It's wrong. But what they figured out is able to reason. And that was kind of scary. But they solved this, this is obviously wrong, but they solved this with a lot of fine-tuning and bigger models. But that's a technical detail that I'm not going to go through. But it was able to reason. So they used later on, when they have like all of the internet text in it, and they trained it, the language model with all of the internet text, they found out that everything, like what I showed over here, where they're all separate things. Sorry. Now they found out that everything is actually connected with each other, because everything in its base is connected with language. If somebody made music, somebody described that music, so they could get the description of the music and make music from it. Like with images, you have to make a prompt, right? For an image, you have to make a text prompt. So you're making a description of images, and then you can put that in and say that is basically language, and then you can make an image from it. So what is image generation? It's like it makes text, transforms it into tokens. I'm going to explain later what tokens are. Then it will transform it into pixel and position tokens, and then it makes an image. Like ChatGPT, text tokens, singular tokens appending to the original text, and all the other things. That's all transformation. steps. Do you want to know the future of software development? Have anybody seen this picture before? No. So somebody made ChatDev, and what ChatDev is, it is 9 AIs talking to each other, and they're all connected. They all are fine-tuned or trained with their own specialization. This is specialized in designing. So if you have like a new feature that you want in your application, first they will design it, then they will code it, then they will test it, they will code it again, maybe design it again, and they will code it and then test, and then they do documentation. Documentation is important for the designing and coding and testing because then the AI can just read what has happened before instead of reading all of the code. If they just use a little bit documenting, then it just goes into a loop. So do we need coders anymore? Probably yes. Because what are we going to do with AI and without AI? Without AI, we would do a lot more time doing brainstorming and drafting text, and then a little bit more editing. With AI, we do a lot less brainstorming because you never have to start with an empty page. You can always ask the AI, write a step-by-step plan for this, or write how would somebody do this, or what would be the best practice for this. And then when you have that, then you will draft whatever text or code. And then, as you can see, with AI, you are doing more time editing than the rest of the thing. And yeah, you have to be ethical about it. Please do this part. Don't just always believe what AI says. So, this is what I want to say. What is your workflow, right? What is your workflow at work? Take a step back, look at every step of your workflow, and which of the steps requires a translation from one to the other. And what I mean with translation is actually in transformation. And I will explain that later, what you can do with that. Maybe this is not the best thing. Okay, let's go a little bit technical. I don't know how many of you have a technical inclination, but let me tell you a fun fact. They discovered that the GPT model was able to reason rather than they invented it. It's not that they wanted it to reason. It was more like, because when you are inventing something, the main word that you will say is, Eureka, I did it. But what really happens with the GPT models is like, holy it can reason. There's a whole different thing that happened for GPT models. It's like when they discovered that medicine that was antibiotics. I forgot the name, but that was also discovered. Penicillin, yeah. 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 That's true.
Because they can claim that, okay, this seems smart, but we can't even tell the whole context. We can claim that it's reasoning, but reasoning is more like adding some creativity and
Yeah. So it could do a lot more than just reasoning. That's what you meant to say, right? Yeah. Yeah. And so yeah, that was all part of the discovery that it could do a lot more than just reasoning. So I don't know if you're familiar with tokens, but every word, or actually every piece of a word, is connected to a number. Those numbers are put into this AI box, and then the next number comes out. So what is really happening is that when you ask GPT to generate some text, what happens that this part gets in and then that part come out, and then it will go over and over and over and over again. Oh, did I just locked? Okay. So as you can see here, and if I just say test. Oh.
Tap, 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 tap. Sorry to interrupt. Sorry. There were people watching the stream who were actually so interested in your conversation. I hope that we can sort of repeat it for the people back home, because I didn't understand anything. So I just want to give you the microphone, and just pretend that this is the first time you're asking the question, right? So you don't have the answer yet, okay?
They are wondering about the question? Or?
Yeah, so that we...
Yeah, I try to I try to just maybe articulate what could be the reason here.
Yeah.
Okay. What do we mean by when we say the AI or ChatGPT is reasoning, right?
That it is able to reason.
Yeah, it's able to reason. So when you bring different particles, like from text to speech or video, speech or writing, etc., text. So when you bring all these different parts, in the end, a context is created. So when we look at the whole context, we come to the reason.
Right.
But reason can also be the meaning of the core, so the creativity part, I think. Because when you say, okay, why are you creating this, for example, why are you making this stuff? So you just have some new ideas. But when you think about the context, it's more about bringing every particle and just having whole story can be explained by bringing whole parts. So reason and context, I think, should be carefully studied. Then it could be much clearer, I think.
Yeah, you're right. You're exactly right. Reason and context are being used in the whole flow, right? Yeah. In the whole process of generating an output. And yeah, what we said before, it's more than just reasoning, of course. It's also able to do creativity when you combine two or more things together. And yeah, of course, other stuff. Fortunately, I used the word reason to kind of combine all of those things together into one simple word.
It also just came to my mind, so it needs to be carefully taught, I think, because the context is created when you think about everything around. Yeah. But the reason, I think, more for the creativity and the why part of anything we do. Just why do we do it? And it's
okay, thank you.
Complicated, I think.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, of course, this is all very complicated. This is not an easy subject.
Yeah, but just when we claim that it's reasoning, I think it's something.
It's not reasoning. Yeah, that's what you mean. Yeah, it's not exactly reasoning. No, it's still stupid. Yeah, that's what.
It's not stupid.
No. I mean, it's a calculation too. It's so good at math that it can do language, and it can also do things that look like reason but isn't exactly reasoning.
Yeah,
okay, now I get it.
That's true. Yeah, that's what I meant actually. Yeah. Because from your Google Translate example also, because if you follow how you use this Google Translate, if you just left a lot of space in each word, then Google Translate also lose the context.
Yeah, exactly.
Then you can see this, what was the Dutch word, the last one? Pindakaas. Yeah. So then it's not going to understand the pindakaas.
If you put a space between pinda and kaas, it will make a peanut cheese. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's I think with ChatGPT, they better know how they can just create the right context just by combining the right stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe they also doesn't enforce us to use one methodology to put everything that in the end generates the right context that we in the end think that it's reasoning, but
It's not. Yeah.
it's not.
It's
in the
not
end reasoning.
exactly how humans reason. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna explain the technical stuff, and it's like why it looks like reasoning. The first thing you need to know is like tokens, right? So you've got. Is it able to show something here because it's not coming up? I should have tested this. Let's see. Swap displays. Nope, it's not that. Oh, okay, perfect. Let's how do I nope. How do I again? How do I zoom in? I forgot. How do I zoom in Arc browser? Let's see if it knows the Arc browser. I'm gonna say since my cutoff in 2011. Arc browser. Oh, nope. Command plus. Yes, thank you. Okay, so as you can see, it is generating like on the fly. You see, it's generating on the fly, and that's not a stylistic choice. It is literally how it works, because it needs the entire. Oh, where's the swap display? So it needs this to get that. So, and then it needs to process this to get that, and it needs to process this again to get that. So what it does is that it generates one token at a time instead of like in Google Translate, they generate everything at the same time. Like you press enter and everything is transformed or translated. But in ChatGPT, they decided what would happen if we use the same engine of translation, the Google Translate, and then instead of translating everything, translate it into one thing. That is how ChatGPT kind of works. Also, let's pretend that this is the input data, right? The training data. You can see got horizon in every sentence, right? And then after each, the next word, I've got it colored. So if you got 4 times expand, 2 times meet, 1 times line, 1 time shifts. So if I input horizon, what would the next word be? Expands, because it has a 50% chance of being the right word. It's exactly, not exactly. It's sort of very rudimentary about how it works. And if you want to know the next word, then it will be, something else. And as you can see, this is exactly how it also works in the playground. Let me show you. Why is it not working? Playground. This is the recipe of my mother. Okay, you put on full spectrum, putting it on, then we submit. Of my mother's biryani. I don't know what it is, but here's a recipe. As you can see, it has different colors. You've got red, you've got slightly orange. Anybody colorblind, by the way? Good. Okay, so we've got green. Most of them are green, but there's red. And why are they red? because when you click on it, you can see there's only a 1.57% that it should be 500, which means that you should not trust this recipe because it normally should be 2 or something. Yeah, no, probably if you use 2 here, if you use 2 here, then it will, oh yeah, it make 2 cups of basmati rice instead of, yeah. Yeah, and that is because my mother's most famous apple pie. Oh! Good job. Oh wait, let's just okay. So why does it sometimes pick something that is not the top? And if it would always pick the top answer, then we can test that with bringing the temperature to 0. If we bring the temperature to 0, then nearly nothing is going to be red. This is called greedy, and greedy is because it always picks the one that is on top. Always the one that is on top, which reduces kind of creativity. And this also means that you get stuff that has already been written somewhere. So it is almost a literal copy of somebody else who made this. What do you think what will happen if I put the temperature all the way up? Yeah, somebody said random. Let's look how random it is. Yeah, that's pretty random. There's a cat strong language citation and a founder DK. Yeah, and okay. Yeah, well, that's not right. You don't want to make a dish that is with temperature around 2. Like 1 is perfect. Maybe if you want to be more correct, let's try 0.5. And then you have a little bit of randomness in it. 2 tablespoons. It doesn't want to say tablespoon. It want to say X. So yeah, they probably just put tablespoons in it, and then it would be different. Okay, let's use a fun use case for developers. Using AI to call functions inside your application. I don't know how many of you are developers. Okay, yeah, okay, good amount, good. I don't know how many of you know about function calls of OpenAI. Who knows about function calls? Well, it's the best feature ever. It's gonna. Let's do function calls. And it's in the docs, so you guys missed it. Let's talk about function calls. Why is it all the way here? Okay, so imagine that you're an accountant, right? You use accounting software. A customer, Mr. Human, wants to buy 40 pairs of socks. They agree to pay half up front, or the left socks, for example, and then pays the other half when the socks have arrived. The customer wants 2 separate invoices for each payment. And then with the shipment code, they can automatically send the second invoice. So because when UPS put the status on delivered, then they want an invoice automatically sent. How would an accountant do that in the accountant software? That's a lot of steps. Well, first you have to do this, and then they create a new customer profile, and then create the first invoice, and then you have to send the second invoice. Oh, what about we skip all this? What about use AI function calling? So when we give AI like this JSON, I assume everybody knows. Oh no, of course not. A lot of developers knows JSON. You can give like, this is a function called search customer, like search for a customer in a system based on a given criteria. You can give it like, that was the first name, what's the second name, what's the email address. So you can search for it. So when you search for Mr. Human, you just put last name Human, and then it will the database, a program, the backend will give, oh, Mr. Human is this, and yeah, he lives here, and this is his email, etc. So when we say create a chat box in your application, and we say, Mr. Human just ordered 40 pairs of socks and wants to pay half now and the other half when it arrives. He wants 2 separate invoices. Okay, let's find Mr. Human in the database. Search Human, Mr. Human. Oh, here I found the information of Mr. Human. Now let me find the product ID for the socks. And then it looks again in the database. It could just do it could output, for example, an SQL query. And then again, just find the product ID. Oh, here's the ID of the socks. I got it for you. Let me fill in the invoice form to create an invoice, etc., etc., etc. So instead of doing all these steps, you just have to say one sentence, and it does everything for you. Because of function calls, it's the best. Let's go to the corporate one. Like, what is NN saying right now? NN is saying AI won't replace you, but people using AI will. That's it. Let me show you an example of what I'm building right now. Is it? Yeah, it's open. Okay. I'm a weightlifter. I might not look like it, but I am. And in this app, this is just a chat box. But it will show me all the exercises in the database. And this is the database. Okay, I just have one in my database. Which is just exercise 1 is the arm curl. Okay, can you explain this? Sure, here's a list of all the and then can you add something? Add a new exercise for squats. And hopefully this works. Yeah. And then confirm action for add exercise. Squats is a compound. It's for the lower body, and the barbell squat for legs. Confirm. Yeah, ID 6. And then as you can see, it is in there, in my database. It's just so much easier than doing all that stuff. Also, I heard somebody having a AWS training today. Pretend to have an 8-hour AWS training today. What have you learned? If I were to simulate having a tennis, yeah, I would be very tired. No, is it true? Yeah. and then, did you know that if who has paid ChatGPT? Just one? Yeah, a 2? Yeah, perfect. That's very good. Did you know that you could put in custom instructions? Now, I have my whole app that I'm making right now in this custom instructions, and then how I want ChatGPT to respond. Let's turn it on, and I would say, I want to create tests for the backend. I just have to say this. Does it work? Does it do exactly what I want it to do? No, it does not do it. Yeah. Sorry? Should we give a... yeah. Is it on? How do I turn it on? Yeah. Also, in my code base, what I usually now always do in my code base. Yeah. One second. I have a README AI in my code base nowadays because I want the AI to read this whole README AI. It's not working exactly how I want. Okay, it's buggy. Never mind. But it's I would recommend to write an README AI and then not looks like this, but it looks like a very shortened documentation for the AI to read. Yeah, please.
Sorry, when you were showing some example for custom input, so it is equivalent to pure short input, like you give an example.
Like this one, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is called pure short, right?
This is.
Because when you're in
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay. So when you call API of this, then you also can give these kind of things. Yeah, this is the input example, and I want that kind of output.
Yeah.
Okay. And in the previous one, you were just interacting, it is a zero short.
Sorry?
In the previous one, where just you are giving the input, you are not giving an output example, that is zero short.
It also includes this in this thing. You mean?
You're just asking questions.
Yeah, I'm just asking it a very short question. Yeah, and then it will first read the README AI.md, and then it will. So what is in the README AI, and then it says this, and then it will give me this, and then it will read everything what is in the server, and then it will read some of my backend code, and then, well, it knows everything already about all my code just with one shot. It knows everything about my code in one shot. But this is not client code, by the way. This is my personal project, just to be sure. I don't care if it gets stolen, it's even better because then more people will be going to the gym. This is perfect.
4.0 and 3.5 was 4.0 is connected to internet, right? Is that correct?
Yeah, 4.0 has options to connect to the internet. This particular one has a plugin called Ask the Code. Provides a GitHub repository URL and ask about any aspect of the code. This is a special plugin that I use a lot to program. And actually, to be honest, it is doing 90% of my work.
And do you know about AI trading?
Trading?
Yeah.
Oh my, I've tried, but I think classical AI is still better in trading than transformer model AI trading.
But if we think about ChatGPT-4, it's connected to internet and it can look at the historical data and it knows all the patterns from a chart. So do you know, or have you ever seen any application that gives command sell and buy in a specific time zone in the chart?
The only thing that I know is that our researchers are now trying to accomplish ChatGPT-4 to make 1 million. Just whatever, in any way possible, you know, write a web store or other ethical things in order to get it. But they are trying to accomplish that. And once we have, as a human species, once we could make $1 million with just one press of a button, I don't know what will.
No, I think some people are doing, and we are not even.
Yeah, we might not even notice that it's happening. Yeah,
because it's crazy smart right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Are there more questions? Let's find a good command minus. Okay. Let's find an interesting. plugin for this. Popular, which one would be Keymate? Something that has to do with trading. Trade. Decode lace technical analysis. Yeah, let's just do this. Let's see what happens. Okay, I've got two. Let's do this. Let's put this off. Let's put this off. Okay. Tell me, what should I do to make 10K by tomorrow? Yeah, work really hard, like in the next 24 hours.
Sell a kidney.
It's a highly ambitious goal. Okay, thanks. And it's important to understand that attempting to achieve such rapid returns carries significant risk, okay? I don't exactly know how these plugins work. Let's see. Maybe I should ask how these plugins work.
Maybe we can be more specific. Like, can we ask you, can you recommend us when to sell and buy in 1 hour time frame? Man is here to make. Okay, let's say Bitcoin.
And now it's using Trader Insight. Let's see what it does. Error, perfect. Data, nothing. Based on the cursed data, there's no data. I couldn't retrieve the latest. Okay, so the plugins doesn't work, sadly.
If we go home, everybody will be rich. Like we end up.
I am, yeah.
You just probably have to pay a small fee first before you can use the plugin.
Maybe, yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Could be. If you're interested in more details, yeah.
Why do you need a plugin?
The plugins connect to the internet. This is Savvy Trader AI opened up an access point for ChatGPT to connect to.
There was another one which was in the plugin.
Yeah. To be honest, I love doing this.
I'm not paying today.
I'm not gonna tip it.
Just forward testing.
Okay.
Let's try this one, and if it doesn't work, it's something that we can take home as homework. Okay.
Should we buy Bitcoin in the next hour? Let's find out. Let's just be curious. Okay, this one is broken. I don't know why I have left it on. This one is broken too. Wait. Okay. Sorry. I'm gonna try one more time. I'm gonna at Savvy Trader. I'm gonna turn off Trader's Insight. I'm gonna turn off, and this is the only one that is left. Is Signal Plus. Okay. Bitcoin. Yeah. Let's see. Does it connect to the Savvy? Nope. What is the Savvy plugin? What is this plugin named? Signal Plus, sorry. What is Signal Plus plugin? Okay. Okay, because the plugins also just adds a little bit in the prompt invisibly. You cannot see it. Okay, great. Yeah. So what do you recommend right now? Can you offer recommendations? Okay, yeah, amazing. Does it connect? No, it doesn't connect. It doesn't really work. You have to try it out at home. I'm sorry, and pay OpenAI if this is ethical. Are there any more questions?
I actually do have one myself,
Yeah.
but I want to give the people in the audience, except you, Guy. No, just kidding. I want to give people in the audience a chance, and if not, I got one myself. Maybe a trick question, but why do we need an README AI if we have a README for humans that we don't even read?
Yeah, so with a README AI, it's like an easily accessible documentation for AI written by AI, and I asked it to write it for an AI. So it used very like condensed words.
So then we can just name it README and we're done.
Yeah, actually we can, but yeah, normally the normal README has like installation and sort of stuff, and then README AI is more like, if you want this, then go there. But it's also handy for humans.
All right, thank you. So give Hints a round of applause.
Thank you.
All right, and I had my own AI generate the outro for today, so I'm going to read this. Thank you, Martin GPT, for what I'm going to read right now. In the realm where knowledge intertwines like the roots of ancient trees, God, I'm really going to do this. We bid you farewell from the Coven of Wisdom, with a little bit of echo. Your presence here was illuminated our gathering like the stars in the night. And we extend our deepest gratitude to each and every one of you for joining us on this enchanting journey. Before you embark on your own adventures, do not forget to collect your tokens of wisdom at the entrance. They're called stickers. Our magical stickers, goddammit. Our magical stickers, a mark of your participation in our gathering. As you venture into the world beyond, we offer you a humble feast of leftover pizzas. A hearty sustenance to warm your hearts and minds for the days to come. And please mark your calendars for our next enchantment, scheduled for the 26th of October, which will be our CSS edition, featuring the esteemed Read More, speakers Hidde de Vries, an accessibility expert and invited expert at the W3C, and Brecht de Ruijten, a regular author of smashing magazines and other illustrious platforms. Oh, I'm breaking my tongue here. The magic they will unveil shall be nothing worth of wondrous. Furthermore, on the 16th of November, another mystic gathering awaits. We shroud this future event in secrecy, but rest assured, it shall be an adventure worthy of your participation. Save the date and prepare for the extraordinary. Should you wish to linger in the company of the fellow seekers of wisdom, visit our website.